The hell was that?
Back by remarkably popular demand, we've got Shepard Ambellas of IntelliHub.com joining us for John Cullen's coronavirus investigation. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
Pretty
Can you
well,
guys hear
pretty
me?
well. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
how are you?
I am
I'm great.
great. Shepard, you're looking well. John, you're looking well. So, for people who weren't watching last week, Shepard dropped a bomb on us, basically saying that a near Earth object could be threatening our very existence on this planet, and speculating that it's possible that the worldwide lockdown that we are all currently experiencing could actually be a method that the government is employing to keep everybody safe and inside while they organize the best countermeasures or response possible, and they don't want to tell anybody. Is that fair, Shepard? Is that basically what you were telling us?
Pretty much, except for the fact that, we're seeing militarization worldwide and it looks like a full-on New World Order takeover. But yeah,
That we agree with for sure. Now, I haven't looked into this at all, but what John does that I really like is that he'll take a hypothesis, no matter how odd it may seem, and he'll drill into it and look for the facts. As I understand it, John, you've done that all this past week. What have you come up with?
Well, first of all, can everybody hear me okay? Is this clear and all that stuff? Or am
You
I
know what?
overmodulating?
I think
Little
that in
low,
the
little low?
last,
I can turn
you
it up.
sound
I
fine.
can
We
turn
had a
it.
little bit of a
Yeah,
last minute snafu
checking.
that may have
Testing,
screwed up
testing.
our broadcast here. We're going out on the wrong link, unfortunately.
Wrong link.
So,
All
yeah,
right,
don't worry
okay.
about that. Let me deal with this while you guys carry on,
All
and
right.
I'll get your simulcast going. John, tell us what you found.
All righty. So when Shepard pointed out what Shepard was pointing out last week, I think a lot of people, including me, were a bit surprised. I mean, we came to talk about a virus, and Shepard shared some information with us that was a little bit different than what I think any of us were expecting. But at the end of the show, what I said to everybody is, you know, this is Shepard Ambellas, man. You got to listen to the guy. I know it sounds crazy, but you got to listen to the guy. And so, what did I do? I went and did the research. And hang on, let me grab my files here. Bear with me, guys, 1 second.
Shepard, of course, is the editor-in-chief of IntelliHub.com, and he is a champion of alternative news. Shepard, how long have you been doing this?
um, kind of behind the scenes since 2009. I had a real underground show, a lot more brutally underground than, you know, you could imagine. I was on blog TV, and I actually started out where I would have like one viewer. And I started building it up, and started covering some of the most censored stuff that the mainstream media was not covering at the time, especially like the BP oil spill. We had like reporters in the Gulf and whatnot, and we were
Wow.
getting all this information. And pretty soon it built up to where we were simulcasting in like 3 blog TV rooms with 2,000 people in each room.
Wow.
And that's how it all began.
Amazing. And people can go to IntelliHub.com to read all of Shepard's reporting. People who want to support Shepard's efforts on IntelliHub can click on in the donate button at IntelliHub.com/contact/donate. And we are pleased to let everybody know that after last week's show, Shepard was successful in keeping the server on, and that's always a good thing when you're in the business of
Jason,
delivering.
I have
Yeah,
to thank all of your viewers. You have a wonderful audience, and I appreciate them very much. And thanks for helping keep IntelliHub alive. And of course, you guys know I'm working full time now on it, so we're going to see a lot of content.
Well, I was shocked after the show with what I found. And I called Jason. I called you Saturday, right, Jason? We did the show Friday. We lost your audio. Jason's pantomiming. All right, that's okay. So Jason's going to do some pantomiming, and Shepard and I will run the show for 5 minutes while Jason figures out what happened to his microphone. But after the show, I did some research and started digging into what Shepard was suggesting, that there might be some sort of near-Earth object on its way towards Earth. And, what's the story? And so as I start researching it, you'll see this when Jason gets the deck up and gets his microphone back on and all that stuff. Just give us a minute, guys. There's no rush. Yeah, we don't hear you yet. No.
Oh, you got me now?
Oh.
Okay.
There you go.
You know what?
Yeah. Yep.
That never, ever happens. It's the second time it's happened on our show here. There's a whole lot of business going on over here.
I've never seen anything like it. I'm not even joking. I'm getting censored left and right, and I got trolls coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
I'll show you guys some tricky stuff. I'll show you some stuff that's happened on YouTube. I don't want to pull us away from IntelliHub, but again, let me just say that before I knew Shepard Ambellas, I knew his work. I knew IntelliHub, and I used to go to IntelliHub whenever I would read something strange. Like if I saw something in the news on Drudge Report or something and it just seemed odd, I would go to IntelliHub, and that's where I would find kind of the backstory. And I didn't know Shepard at all. And then when Shepard appeared on Alex's show and started talking about the flight radar stuff, that's when we connected. And we ended up talking. And in fact, I was talking to Shepard from one of the beaches in Thailand that I took Jason to have a coconut. And so I took Jason there to say, this is where I was talking to Shepard Ambellas. And for me, that was kind of a big deal. Shepard Ambellas is kind of one of the old school guys, one of the OG. It was Shepard Ambellas and Alex Jones. That's kind of what it was. So when Shepard said there's something inbound, I take that seriously. And the fact that Shepard was going through something that I call the pariah's dilemma or the pariah's paradox, which is if you think something is happening and you think it's happening in fairly short order, and you're fairly convinced that you know something that other people don't know, it's pretty tough to maintain your cool. And I went through this during the Vegas shooting in the weeks that led up to Shepard appearing on Alex. So when Shepard appeared on Alex, and it was October 29th, I think you were on the show. I think it was October 29th or 30th. It was right before Halloween. And then the night of the Long Swords was November 4th. Right, just less than a week later. And between what Zach told us and that, my pariah's dilemma eased when I realized it wasn't terror. It wasn't a dry run for the World Series. I thought these guys were going to shoot up the World Series with 5 helicopters and take out 10,000 people, and that the Vegas thing was a dry run. When I realized that they had a motive, and the motive was a specific individual or two, it had nothing to do with attacking the World Series. So, but in the first couple weeks, I was panic stricken. I thought I had information that could prevent a disaster at the World Series, and nobody wanted to listen to me, right? And I know that feeling. And so when Shepard came on the show and said, I just kind of learned this a couple days ago, what he learned is right on the money. And I'm just going to give you guys a taste of it. But before we get into too much about near-Earth objects, it's very important for us to do a mea culpa on last week's disclosure. So if we made any mistakes and stuff, it's very important to clear that up before we get too deep into the show. So I always like to do the mea culpas up front. But for those of you who were doubting Shepard Ambellas, let's get this on the table. Comet C 2019 Y4 Atlas was discovered December 28th, 2019. It is 4 kilometers wide. It's heading for our solar system, and we didn't know it existed 100 days ago. We didn't know it existed. And now the astronomy kids are going crazy. They're all excited. And so what's interesting is to leave the domain of the conspiracy folks and the YouTube folks and go to other domains. And so I went to the sky watching kids, all the guys that got the Meade telescopes and stuff, and the Crestrons. And they're all excited about this. And then I went to the NASA and JPL sites. and started tracking these things to see, well, where are they going? Is it coming close to Earth? How close to Earth is it coming? Is it scary close to Earth or what? And this particular one, I did a model on it. Now, I don't know which model video you're bringing up here. What does that one say in the upper left-hand corner?
Well,
But you can
we've
play
been dealing with some issues at the start of the show. I don't know that we have this all straight. We're going to get into the videos much more once we transition over to the sponsor exclusive show. Of course, people who are sponsors on patreon.com/I am John Cullen, patreon.com/crowdsource the truth, or subscribestar.com for either of those are going to get access to the sponsor exclusive show. And that's going to be starting in just about 15 minutes. So we're just a little bit short of time here, but John, give us some overview of what we're going to be looking at, what you've prepared. There's some really detailed simulations you've got here.
Yeah. So there's some three-dimensional simulations that we're running here on various near-Earth objects. And what Shepard brought up, which is the C2019Y4 Atlas, is significant in that it's 4 kilometers wide. And it's a big object, and it is visible in the sky, will be visible to the naked eye, and has a bit of a tail on it and all that kind of stuff. And again, no, last Christmas, December 25th, nobody knew this existed. It was just discovered, right? December 28th.
And what's the odds of this hitting the Earth?
It's not, right? So, but that doesn't mean it's innocuous. Everybody wants to know, is it going to hit the Earth? Is it going to hit the Earth? Is it going to hit the Earth? If a 4-kilometer comet hit Mars or hit Venus, that wouldn't be good, right?
Yeah.
You would probably have stuff raining down, and my umbrella is not going to stop molten rock from another planet. So if it hits anything in the solar system,
well, I imagine it would disrupt
good.
The gravitational relationship between all these planets if some...
Yeah. I don't want to know.
Right.
All
it doesn't
I think
seem
is,
good. Right.
If a 4-kilometer comet ran into Mercury, it lends credence to what Shep is saying, which is the Army using this as an opportunity to kind of scramble their resources around and do a drill to say, what if one of these things were to hit the Earth? We're underprepared. We are absolutely not prepared for it. I don't know. But what Shep is saying is we're seeing the military, they called up the whole National Guard, which is over 1 million people, right?
I do want to
Shoot
add,
the virus?
you know, Shepard was showing us some videos of tanks coming into cities and things like that. I've been all around New York City, and I've seen the Marines over there by Pier 90. They were really unprofessional, this one Marine who spoke to me. But I haven't seen any tanks driving through New York City. Has there been any more developments with the military equipment, Shep?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but you guys have to realize I watched all this move in, and it moved in almost like over a month ago. So it's like they really pre-positioned it, and then it's like they hid it or locked it down or put it on bases or in buildings, and it all just went somewhere and no one knew where it went. I mean, there were train loads of tanks going through LA. But this was like in every city, and it wasn't normal movement. I tracked this kind of stuff for years. It's definitely not normal movement. And it's like they really place these things all over, and they can like pop them out. I don't know. They could be all over New York. I mean, you know, I don't know. I didn't specifically see things in New York, but just about everywhere else, you know.
Well, the other thing you're going to see tonight, and maybe we've got 5 minutes, we can show this before we go to
Look at how many likes and the time that Elon Musk put this out. 330,000 likes at 3:39 a.m. When does this dude sleep?
He doesn't sleep.
But that's a lot of steganographic messaging.
He's dating Amber Heard, right? I don't think he's sleeping. All right, so here's what we have for the patron-only hour. We're going to look at simulations, and here's the freaky thing. So this one is big, and when I started running the simulation on this, you're going to see it comes damn close to Mercury, not Earth. But I'm looking at that and going, hey, if a 4-kilometer thing ran into Mercury, there's debris that's flying into space. I mean, this is not a good thing.
they
Yeah, go
openly
ahead.
admit that the basically, you're talking about the nucleus of this comet 4 kilometers, but they're saying the overall mass of the gaseous cloud is literally 5 times the size of Jupiter.
Whoa.
Not the mass, not the mass.
I know.
The
I'm sorry, the
oh,
gaseous cloud,
oh,
right? And we
I'm getting
don't know, like, can the Earth go through the tail of that? And is that like a cyanide gas?
Yeah, what would it do to us?
I'm telling you, you don't need to worry about this comet and Earth.
Okay,
You need to worry about
that's.
four others. There's four
Mhm.
others. So this is what happens, right? Shep plants the seed, and
Right.
down the rabbit hole we go. And as I'm looking at the simulation on this thing, and I realize, all right, it's not going to hit Earth. Then I start freaking out. It's going to hit Mercury, and you're going to see that tonight. You're going to see how close it comes to Mercury, and then you're going to see four objects that are not only closer. One of them is today. One of them is today, and the one today is way closer than these. It's not quite as big, but if you go to Meteor Crater online, if you pull up Meteor Crater, or Barringer Crater is the real name of it, Barringer Crater is the most recent strike by something bigger than, you know, bigger than a desk, right? So Barringer Crater
Oh, yeah.
was basically a rock the size of two school buses. So
Hmm.
take two kid school buses, weld them front to back, and send it pummeling into the earth. It's 750 feet deep, and the diameter of the crater itself is 1.2 kilometers. And if you do like an image search, and you'll see like 100 pictures of it, meteor crater. It's spectacular. Now, this happened 50,000 years ago
Hmm.
from a rock the size of two kids' school buses, two yellow buses. There you
It
go.
looks like the Grand Canyon.
It's massive. It's 1.2 kilometers across and 750 feet deep. And that was a
Where is
rock the
that?
size of two. It's, I think it's south of the Grand Canyon. It's like where it's Meteor Crater,
In
Flagstaff. It says,
Arizona, yeah.
yeah, Flagstaff. I guess that's what it says. So, but this was 50,000 years ago. This is the most recent event. Now, you wouldn't want to be, I would think, anywhere in the southwestern United States when that hit. I mean, I don't
No.
think you'd want
Well,
to
it probably
Texas. You
would
don't.
fill the atmosphere with soot and crap for a long time. They've had those shows like, here's the first 5 minutes after everything goes south. And it's always sort of like,
Exactly.
well, everyone would be all right for a day, but then the sun would be
All right.
blocked out, chlorophyll
So
would
this,
stop.
and that's a rock that's 150 feet long. And the one that Shepard found was 4 kilometers across.
Whoa. Here's the
All
parking
right. So,
lot. Look at that.
yeah, yeah. This is big. This is a big. And so this is something that the thing that hit was only as big as two of those RVs in the parking lot. I think those
Yeah,
are
but it's
RVs
mass
there.
times velocity squared. It's the velocity that
And
gets you.
it's the velocity, right? The velocity is the thing. And so we've got this. We've got tonight, we're going to look at Oumuamua. Oumuamua, we've got guys from Harvard University that thought it was an alien spaceship. They thought it was an alien probe. We've got professors from Harvard that thought Oumuamua was an alien probe because of how it was tumbling through space. And the thing about Oumuamua is it came and went. It's the first piece of interstellar rock that we have seen enter and leave our solar system. That's never happened in recorded time. An object that came and left. The thing that Shepard was talking about last week with the C2019 Y4 is that its periodicity. Okay, so Shep, you're going to freaking get goosebumps with this. Okay, the periodicity of this comet between 4,400 and 5,000 years. So now what that means is the stuff that's in the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Egyptian caves or wherever the hell they were talking about, this planet that returned.
Planet
Sumer,
X.
ancient Sumeria,
This
which
is
is actually where Iraq is now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
wow.
So
okay.
the
So real quick,
Sumerians,
one
Sumerians
tidbit of
were
information just for one
Yeah.
second. The
right.
incursion into Iraq during the first Iraq War was literally named Operation Planet X. You can look it up.
All
Wow.
right. Well, here's the net of it. 4,400 to 5,000 years ago, this thing appeared. And when it appears in the sky, it looks like Jupiter or Saturn or Venus. It looks like a planet with a tail. So 5,000 years ago, might someone have thought this was a returning planet? Quite likely, right? 5,000 years ago, they thought a pork chop. Yeah, right? That's
one other quick thing to point out, John, is there's Hopi prophecy, which says the blue Kachinka, the red destroyer follows the blue Kachina. So they think that a brown dwarf star essentially follows the comet in. So when you see the blue Kachina, then something else could come in.
All right. The blue is the tail of this thing because of the carbon and the way that it blows off the back of this. As you read it, it tells you what color the corona is, and the corona is blue-green.
Coronavirus?
No. The corona of the
I'm
tail
kidding.
it is a blue-green color, and it says that here in the literature about the comet. So you can go to Wikipedia, you can read about C/2019 Y4 Atlas, and Atlas is the system that's supposed to be detecting these things. And
Wow.
what you're going to learn about tonight on the show is that we're finding out about these near-Earth objects, these inbound objects, with 60 to 90 days notice.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
And that's rather disconcerting. Disconcerting, especially when we're talking about stuff that's 4 kilometers wide or other stuff that's simply the size of the one that you just saw in that crater at
Barringer.
At Meteor. Yeah, Barringer Crater. That's unbelievable, right? So we got a whole bunch of these things. And
well,
you're going
the
to see
thing I'll
tonight.
say, yeah, people are going to find out about this tonight when we transition over to patreon.com/I am John Cullen, patreon.com/crowdsource the truth, and subscribestar.com for both of those. We don't really need this early warning system. People can just go to IntelliHub and they'll find out when these comets are coming. This Atlas thing is a waste of money. People can go to IntelliHub.com. I would encourage people who were ragging on Shepard last week, get over to IntelliHub.com and send him an email to apologize, perhaps donate so he can keep the server going for even longer. It's expensive to run these independent news sites. And Shepard, where do people find that donate button when they go to IntelliHub.com?
They can, on the top right of the main page, it's a blue button. I appreciate anything that, obviously it helps. They've taken away all my ad revenue. At one time, IntelliHub was huge and it could pay for reporters and everything, but it's basically, I'm just running it now and I put out a lot of content.
Absolutely.
Well, what you shared last week is huge. It's huge.
Shepard was on it. We all had no idea.
You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe what you're going to see tonight. And the other thing that it's important for people to know before we go to the patron-only hour, influenza numbers for the season. So set COVID-19 aside for 3 seconds. Influenza outbreak this season, we are now at 90,000 people have died from influenza and related pneumonia in the season that began in October and has up until a week or so ago. So these are the numbers from the CDC. I just downloaded these before the show and sent them over to Jason.
Wait a minute, it looks like it's saying total deaths 2,000.
That's for that week.
Oh, I see. So you add all these up. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. So a lot of really weird social engineering going on surrounding this whole coronavirus outbreak. We saw that mass grave article. I did a piece on that this morning out in Brooklyn that just got hit. The live stream got taken out twice. I'll be posting that. after our show tonight, but we've got to wrap right here to get the live stream. Whoa, we're running out of time. Okay, so people are going to join us over on Patreon and Subscribestar. Make sure you visit intellihub.com to get all of the alternative news that you're not hearing from the mainstream, and also more accurate reporting than this NASA Atlas thingamajig. So that's pretty good for Shepard. Congratulations on that one. We'll see everybody on Patreon and Subscribestar. Thanks for watching, everybody.